Hello, everybody, and welcome to our first official review of the Haunt Talk season. And as I feel like it's kind of per usual at this point, it is a 100 Acre Manor.
Shock!
Right?
Ah.
Because they usually open before everyone else. I will say before, we start into the review of the video, though, was Rich's Fright Farm. I think just they refer to it as Fright Farm now.
Yes.
Was also open.
Yes.
I found that and we went there. That review will be after this one. I'm going to try and have it uploaded soon after this one. Some things have been happening. We're going to Orlando here in the next couple days, so I'm going to try and find time to edit these videos and get them online. We also have one for an escape room, which will also be sometime next week. I'll have that. It should be. But yes, so make sure you keep your eyes out on the channel because there'll be a lot of, spooky reviews up, as there always is this time of year from us. But that being said, I think we will get right into the review, which means it is time to refer to Book of the Dead! Book of the Dead! Book of the Dead! Book of the Dead!
Alright, so per usual, we are going to start with sets and props.
Yeah.
100 Acre always goes all out with their sets and props.
Yes, absolutely. That is generally why we go there. It's not always the scariest. It usually is pretty good on scares, but it's always like insanely elaborate.
Yeah.
And that's why we love it so much. We also almost always go on opening night, so it's probably also when they're shortest staffed too. It sucks, that we go to so many other places. So we don't really ever get to repeat visit places in the same year, almost ever. But this year, the themes, per their website, the lift, which is just like a elevator, is closed. So that was not open this year. Whatever. The host, Breach, Folklore, what's this one? All Voodoo, The Spell, and Hallows Eve. And not really in that order, I don't think. Are the themes for this year.
So, their themes are just fantastic. The host is actually a Streets of London. It's kind of like a mix of like Jack the Ripper, but there's also like the plague going around, and there's werewolves, and it just a whole bunch of shit is happening.
Yeah, basically.
And you're just kind of like, okay, well, Yeah, it actually says on the site, the plague is the least of your worries now.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there's all this other stuff just happening. So, it's so elaborate. Like, you really feel like you are in old-time England on the cobblestone streets. Just super spooky and just really immersive in that scene. And it's just really fantastic.
It is, and I also like that 100 Acre Manor, and they kind of done this with all of their themes. Like, none of them are themes you see too often other places. I don't know if I've ever seen a London plague theme. I know there is some, I think, out there, but I don't think I've personally ever been to another one that has like a plague.
Yeah,
London,
no.
like that. Especially not a mix like this.
Yeah, and like they also did something that we'd like to see more of, and that's aliens.
Yes, and that is the Breach 2.0. They definitely did seem to, now again, they weren't open for the 2020 season, sorry. Yeah. So the 2019 season was the last time we were there. But it definitely seemed like this area was expanded upon, I do believe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because last time it was really, really short. I do remember it being really, really short. And this time it was huge. There was so much more that I was just like, oh my god, aliens, this is so cool. I mean, and it's not your typical alien. Like, it was a mix of all different kinds of aliens.
Yeah, I mean,
really.
It did remind me mainly of like something like the movie Alien, like that,
yeah.
Because it's kind of like you're in some kind of facility.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's a space station necessarily, but it feels like it comes from a facility, and like the aliens are broken loose and that kind of thing. And they actually have a couple people that are in like full-on alien prosthetic type of things, and they're real creepy looking and cool. But yeah, I just really like the aesthetic of that haunt. And then I think the next one was actually Voodoo. That's the next themed area we went to. Yes.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm reading his notes, and it just says Nolans.
Nolans, yeah.
Like gnaw.
Yeah, they have a really cool cemetery there. It's like a big cemetery, and like you kind of weave your way through it, and then you end up in a satanic church. that you go through, and I go
do.
around the pews and stuff. That was really cool. Something new there this year. Well, they've had it before, but it's like, I don't even know how to describe it. It's so cool how they do it, but it's like there's like this waterfall thing, and you're walking over this like pond of a bridge. They've had that before, but this year it was like themed to Jaws, it looked like almost. They had like a giant shark animatronic thing, or not, it wasn't, it was like a puppet, I think, actually.
I think so. I think it might have been it might have been a shark. It might have been just a really giant alligator. I don't know.
No, it was definitely a shark. It was definitely
it a shark?
Yeah, it was definitely
Okay.
a shark. And they had like, 'cause it was like surf stuff and that on the walls, which is weird because I don't really know how that fit with the voodoo theme, because it like there's like, I don't know, like the way it was colored and stuff. I really liked it, but I was like, this is strange. This doesn't read voodoo to me. Like, it's kind of a swamp, but
I guess the shark got in the swamp.
I don't know. Yeah, it was weird, but it was cool. And then you kind of like go up and you walk like underneath like where this little tiny like waterfall thing is kind of going, which is nice. And then I think they did have alligators as well after that. There was alligators
Lots
in
of
the next
alligators.
section. Yeah, that was
It was really cool.
yeah, it was really cool. I like the theming of that. But yeah, my favorite part about the voodoo section is like the Satanic Church and like the
the actual voodoo stuff is just they do a really good job with.
there's even like Mardi Gras beads like hanging off a lot of the tombstones and stuff. Like someone had some kind of party in there and it didn't go well for them.
Because at one point there was a jester in there, and I'm like, "What are you doing in here?"
I forgot about him.
And I'm like, "Oh wait, yeah, that's right. We're in New Orleans."
Yeah.
Because at first it didn't make sense, and I'm like, "What?" And I'm like, "Oh, okay, that makes sense now."
But then, so I didn't actually read the description on the website. It's just called folklore, and I didn't realize like what it was until we got in, and it is Yeti themed.
Yetis!
Which we were extremely ecstatic to find out.
Oh my gosh.
This was completely new. A lot of times 100 Acre it'll be new, but they just kind of like put a little bit of fresh coat of paint on something. They do that sometimes. But with this one, like, it was completely different. When you first walk in, it's cool. Like, the whole thing actually is like snow covered.
Yes.
They have like fake snow everywhere. And when you first walk in, there's a giant Yeti hand like coming down from the ceiling, and it's like trying to take an actor.
Yeah, it's attacking an actor. And, like, at first we didn't know what was going on. Like, we walked in there and we're like, what is all this stuff all over? Like, because we didn't realize at first that it was snow. And we were like...
Because it kind of transitions into it.
Yeah.
It's kind of almost like coming around a mountain, so it didn't read right away as snow. But then, like, soon as we, like, saw, like, oh, because then there's, like, a cabin, and it's, like, oh. And then it, like, we, knew exactly what was going on. Kim actually thought we were in, like, a freezer scene for a minute.
Yeah, because I thought maybe we were in, like, a freezer. And I'm like, oh, okay, we're in, like, a butcher shop or something like that. But then, it was, like, a cabin, all that stuff. And it was actually kind of cool because the last time we saw Yetis was actually at Halloween Horror Nights.
Yeah, that's the only other, I think, like, Yeti-themed haunt that I've personally been to. And it was really cool, when they would jump out. Well, I guess that's more in the actor section. We'll talk about the actual Yetis. But they had a bunch of cool things. They did have a giant Yeti puppet, I do believe. There was one that came out, right? Oh, no, it was a giant Yeti animatronic, I think, that they had. There's definitely a giant Yeti in there besides just the hand. Yeah, there was a giant
Yeti animatronic, yeah.
Yeah, it was just really cool, and it was longer than I thought it was going to be. I just really enjoyed that. I haven't seen something like that, and once you, like, actually were into it, like, it really felt like you were in, like, a snowy area. There was...
At one point, there's, a ramp down, and I thought I was going to slide because there's, like, snow. And it looked like it was slippery, and I'm like, oh, God,
yeah, it's just your mind. Your mind is
like, I'm like, oh wait,
because it's just fake.
It's just and fake. I just walked down the ramp
because we didn't. When we were talking about it afterwards, and I thought the same thing, and I don't know if it was like on purpose necessarily, but it really is an illusion that messes with you. Just a little thing, just a little ramp into the next section. But I'm like, I'm gonna slip and fall, and it's not real ice. But yeah, and then the last section was Hallows Eve.
Yes, and this was your old school Halloween decorations, kind of like you were invited to a house for like a Halloween party and trick-or-treating and stuff like that, and things kind of went horribly wrong. Like you do. Yeah, they had lots of, they had a spooky attic with ghosts that was,
that was
pitch
cool.
black. And
it was creepy.
It was real, we went in there, and at one point I didn't know which way to go, and I'm like, where do we go? And then someone screamed at the other end, and I'm like, okay, we go that way. It was really atmospheric and really creepy and really effective.
Yeah.
But it had like a bunch of like old school Halloween decorations, and
it's kind of a hodgepodge because there's like a witch's thing, there's like a Dracula's castle, so it's like a hodgepodge haunted house of like classic Halloween type stuff.
Yeah, so you're like old school haunted house where they just throw everything in there and scare you with everything.
Yep.
Yeah.
It was probably my least favorite of all the themes, I'd say, probably. They've had this one now for a few years, so I would like to see that one probably change for the 2022 season. It's still good, though, but it's probably my least favorite out of all of them.
Yeah.
But yeah, for sets and props, we, of course, were very thrilled with them, and the Yeti thing really just pushed over the top for us, so we did give sets and props actually a 10 this time, outside of a couple animatronics not working 100% perfectly, and we were literally there on opening night, and we got free t-shirts as well. I was gonna wear it and then I forgot about it. Oh well. So we were literally 51 and 52 in the haunt. So for it to be running as well as it did, it was good.
Yes. All right, so then we are moving on to actors. For being opening night, there actually was quite a few actors.
Yeah, I felt like there was more than usual, and I was surprised with every place having like hard time finding people. I wasn't sure how that was going to be with the haunt industry, or if people would still be working it, since it's more of a thing that people do for fun, not really for money. A lot of these places pay, but a lot of actors, they're doing it because they want to scare people and just be a part of something cool.
Yes.
But yeah, there was a decent amount.
They had really good places to scare, including like you would get scared by multiple times by the same actor, because I love that nowadays, like haunts are doing that more, where they're building the haunt so that one actor can be tucked in a little corner and they can scare you in like 3 or 4 different spots.
Yeah.
And you're like, how is this possible?
Well,
I just saw you
design,
back there. Yeah. And it's just really well designed like that. I really like that nowadays.
Really too. I mean, it makes a place. Like we talked a lot. One of the biggest ones we talk about that does this is Ghoul Brothers in Akron. They're very good at that particular method of really utilizing. Like they don't always have a ton of actors, but each actor can get you at multiple points.
Yes.
Which is good.
We really liked the creepy alien. It says creepy alien wave.
Yeah, well, because he didn't like try and scare me at all. He was just like behind this like tube thing, and it was a person, and he just looks at me and he just very slowly waves and then just put his hand down, and I'm like, he never like tried to get me, but it was just like really creepy. He just kind of like stood there and then just watched me walk through the room, and I'm like, okay. And that I talked about it briefly before, but yeah, the costume / prosthetic thingies that alien creature has is just cool.
Yeah. The Yetis.
Yeah.
They would scare. I guess, how do you scare the Yeti? I guess you would they just kind of did this.
It was great. It was.
But it was great. Like, we walked through the whole section of the haunt going, wow, Yeti!
Yeah, because they would pop out and they would just go like that and then go back in their thing. And it was just amazing. Like, it was like they would jump scare you, but it was almost whimsical.
Yes.
Like, it was fun. And I really liked that they just did this weird, like, Yeti wave thing. I don't know. I enjoyed that. It was cute. And I liked it.
There was a chainsaw guy that had no chainsaw.
Oh my god, that was hilarious. I forgot about that, yes. This is why we make notes right when we leave.
Yes. It was funny because, what did he say?
He popped like around the corner and he goes, rah, 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 and he's like, I forget exactly what he said, something about like not having the budget for a chainsaw. He's like, you just use your imagination.
Yeah, I'm using my imagination. Yeah, that's what he said.
Yeah, it was really fun.
And then, of course, we did get scared by a real chainsaw.
Yeah, he like got us really good. He like came out of like nowhere. Like he just like stood up from behind this like, I don't know, like this thing that they had built. He just like stood up with the chainsaw and just like, it actually worked for him like instantly. That's always the saddest thing when you go and they're like, I'm going to get you. And they go, brrr, and they're like, oh no. Oh, and they're like, okay. And then they make the walk of shame because their chainsaw doesn't work.
Yeah. Wait. I mentioned him before in the New Orleans area is the really cool jester clown guy that was in there.
Yeah, we didn't see him at all, but he wasn't even blended in that well. But neither of us saw him, and he scared us somehow.
Yeah, he just popped out of nowhere. I don't know, and I was just like,
Yep.
And yeah, he scared me very well. So we did give actors 9.5.
The only reason, like, not a 10 is there still could have been a little bit more, and there was and again, it was opening night, but, like, there's a couple times where we walked in and, like, there was actors talking to each other, probably, like, trying to get something ready, so that happened 2 or 3 times, actually.
Yeah.
But again, opening night, but for the majority of it, they were excellent, and the costuming and all of that stuff was really good on them as well.
Very much. All right, so then we are moving on to Scare Factor. And I'm actually going to read the other version of what you wrote down because it's in the sets and props. Stupid big dumb air cannon.
Yeah. What is a prop? But it all scared the crap out of me. It was insane. It was
really loud.
It was really loud and it blew so much air. I hate air cannons so much. And look, I'm not knocking Haunts for using them, but they're so cheap and they always scare the absolute crap out of me. Yeah, they're effective. I just hate them so much. I resent them. They always make me swear too when I'm at haunts. I always swear.
He makes up these weird swear words, and it's just kind of like
Anyways.
mother something, and like everybody's like if there's an actor in there, sometimes they're like, what? Like what was that? Yeah, or he'll make a weird noise. Yeah, you never know. Good hiding spots.
Yep.
Yeah, they had really good hiding spots. Very well placed animatronics too. That's the thing I like about 100 Acre Manor is that
they don't overuse them.
They don't overuse them.
They use them for distraction or just to kind of like just make like for ambiance, but like they don't overuse them. But yeah, they did have a few that actually scared me. A few like with drop panels that they'd come flying out of they would come like from the ceiling and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So that was nice to see. But yeah, one of the things we said, like the pacing was pretty good.
Yes.
Like there were some dead spots, not necessarily really dead spots, some more like just atmospheric spots, just enough to build tension. So it wasn't like blah, 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 but it was like, but you never went too long without some kind of actual actor coming out.
Yeah.
Some, like, and it's okay for a little bit of dead space because it does build atmosphere, but you don't want one where you go like a couple minutes without anyone appearing, and then you start to kind of lose it. You start to lose that thing.
For sure.
But for Scare Factor, we gave them a 9. Decently scary. I don't know what we usually give them, but I feel like that's about average. It might be a little more scary than it's been in previous years, but yeah. Well, they can go watch the other videos if they want to see.
I was going to say 9.
9.
Oh, the one year they got a 7.
Yeah, I think that year they didn't have many actors. But yeah, this year they were decently scary. Going to kind of try and wrap things up here now, though. So value, it was, what was it here?
It took us 25 minutes to go through. It's $27 for a ticket, general admission, $40 for the VIP, and $50 for super VIP, and you get a hoodie. We wanted to do this, and they didn't have any hoodies.
Yeah, so we weren't allowed to do it, so we had to do the $40 normal VIP. I'm like, because that's a really good deal. Like, if you go and there's a hoodie, if you plan on doing the Fast Pass, like, you might as well do the hoodie, because, like, most hoodies are at least $20. Most charge like almost $50 for a hoodie.
Yeah.
Like when we were at Rich's Fright Farm, their gift shop had them for like $50.
They were like $45, $50. Yeah.
So I don't know what the hoodie would have been. I do believe they're doing throughout the whole year. If you're the first 100 if you're within the first 100 people there every night, you get a free T-shirt.
Yes.
And I think they're doing that every day this year. I do believe you can check the website too because there's like different looking shirts.
Yeah. Yeah, they have a different shirt each night. Yep. I think there's like 2 different kinds.
I'm going to grab it. You can keep talking.
Okay. He's going to get the shirt.
I'm going to get the shirt.
But yeah, we, there was 2 different designs that that they had that night, but we got this one. They must have been out of the others.
Folded this thing up real good. But yeah, that's what it should be good on camera there. Which is kind of cool. They have like the
like a Jack Skellington pumpkin and a couple of skulls. Yeah.
So yeah, I thought it looked cool. What does it say? Halloween every day. That's cool. Yeah, and you can go look at the other designs that are on their website. Yeah. So I will say though, if you want the shirt, you might have to do VIP because they just go by the first 100 people that are in there, and the VIP they generally kind of let in first. Yeah. I think for $13 more, there's no question in mind doing VIP here. No. But yeah, and I think you said it took 25 minutes, right?
Yes, it took 25 minutes. So I mean, you're looking at like almost $1 a minute, little.
If you just do the regular, the VIP, of course, you pay extra for, but that's any place. And I feel like their VIP is reasonable because other places, it's more than double the cost.
And that place does get really busy.
Yeah, it definitely does.
I mean, we got there when they were supposed to open, like around 7 or so. And there was already, like, the queue line was
Right.
already full.
Because
like,
if
the
you go in September, they don't open like at 7, and it says that on the website because it's not dark yet, and there are a lot of parts of this haunt that are outside. It's like mixed of inside and outside. But yeah, we think that it's really good value, so we gave it a 9.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that it's very decent value. Some of the length got taken away when they stopped doing the maze. Now it's like an $8 upcharge attraction.
Yeah.
Meh. I don't know if I would do it. I never liked the maze, so I kind of am glad they got rid of it. But this used to be a longer haunt simply because of how long it took to do the maze. But
Yeah. So for overall score, we gave 100 Acre Manor a 9.5.
yeah, we sure did. Very good as always. Highly recommend going to it. Yeah, we're so glad that it's open again this year, and the addition of the folklore section with the Yetis was such a good addition. I hope they keep that for at least a couple more years. I'm sure they will. They usually get rid of a theme and make a new one each year. They tend to do. My guess is probably, I'm hoping that I actually really like I like the Voodoo and the Host one, so I'm hoping they get rid of like Hallows Eve. If they get rid of any of them, make a new one next year.
Yeah.
But yes, have you been there? Let us know what you think of it. Also, like I said, we will be having more reviews coming up very soon for Rich's Fright Farm. And then with us going to Halloween Horror Nights in Orlando, and we also plan to do SeaWorld in Orlando, we will have lots of different videos like ranking the houses and the scare zones and all of that kind of stuff as well. So make sure you like and subscribe and click the bell so you don't miss any of that crap.
Click the bell!
Oh my god. Thank you very much for watching. We'll see you guys in the next episode.
Bye.